Welcome to Airplay Escape. Please consider subscribing to my Patreon account for the full audiobook. Thank you for your support. Naruto, Choose from Birth, Episode 21, Thunder Armor. In an instant, if there was a substantial chakrab full of night and moon, the thunder light on his body was even more dazzling. At this time, within the Uchiha clan, the large Chamber of Commerce, the Jinchuan Chamber of Commerce, won the negotiation. Yujibwa Brand Old Godmother gave full authority to the agent of the Jinchuan Chamber of Commerce. The Jinchuan Chamber of Commerce directly sold 5 million taels and the famous knife, Broken Snow, for the meeting gift, plus a 50-50 share of the profit. All other operating costs and combating copycat piracy are all covered by the Jinchuan Chamber of Commerce. When the Kanagawa merchants encounter an armed attack from their peers, they can also hire Uchiha people to escort. Of course, with such a big profit, the Uchiha patriarch, Uchiha Jinyan, still has to have a real battle with the management of Konoha. It is inevitable to give away a certain amount of profit to the village, but this additional income can also greatly enhance the welfare of the clan. Uchiha Jinyan tried to rank the crowd and gave the biggest hero Uchiha Makoto a reward of 3 million taels, a famous knife, Broken Snow, and a fixed 20% of the income. That is, the one who took it to negotiate with Konoha is the other Sansei. Well, at most, give Konoha Issei, drink the soup. Xiaoqing is still too small, and I will take care of the 2% of the income first. Uchiha thought so. Subsequently, the 8 million taels of silver tickets that Uchiha Makoto had just received were taken away by his father Uchiha Jinyan in the name of saving his future wife Ben before it was hot. Of course, he still gave 300,000 taels of pocket flowers, and the envious brother Uchiha Fuchio was tearful. It is obvious that there are enough ninja tools, and too many ninja tools are directly stored with sealing scrolls and brought on the body. The famous knife, Broken Snow, that blows hair and breaks hair over the waist. Suddenly, the temperament of the whole person rose by several percentage points. When Makoto Uchiha arrived at the school, a shout came from the playground. The Night Moon will win. The Night Moon will win. The Night Moon will win. At this time, after using the Thunder God armor to resist the Wave Feng Shui men with a slight injury, Ji Yijian in the ring has won 9 consecutive battles after defeating the Watergate with a rapid hand. After all, although there is a unique cultivation method of Thunder God armor advancement, it is still far from enough to achieve the degree of invincibility of his father's 3rd-generation Thunder Shadow's strongest shield. But with defense and speed, it's still too easy to deal with the current ninja trainees. Even Yuto Uchiha, who ranked first in Konoha's 6th grade actual battle, was defeated. It's scary. Is he a monster? Aren't you tired of even playing 9 games? The gap between our 2 ninja schools is so big. The main thing is that his speed is too fast. Without the shuriken throwing technique of Watergate, other people's shurikens can't even touch a single hair of his sweat. Except for Watergate and Yuto Uchiha in 6th grade. Everyone else was seconds, and it didn't consume much of his physical strength at all. It's over. According to this situation, no one in Konoha Shinobi can beat him. Nope. Maybe that person can. Great Devil, Makoto Uchiha. His actual combat ranking has firmly suppressed both Feng Shui men and others for several years. Yes, I almost forgot about the Great Devil, mainly because the entire grade was basically slandered by him, and I feel uncomfortable thinking about it, and I don't think of him if you don't mention it. And what about Makoto Uchiha? Makoto Uchiha, Makoto Uchiha, Makoto Uchiha. From the tone of inquiry in 1 or 2 voices, to the more and more uniform in the back, the overwhelming voice quickly overshadowed the shouting of the trainee on the opposite side. The night and the moon will win. Sound. Who is this Makoto Uchiha? Is this the strongest? I heard that it seems to be in the 4th grade. It's a matter of due, their 4th grade is the graduating class. Yunin's cheers were interrupted and exchanged ears with each other. Makoto Uchiha, who had already walked into the crowd, suddenly heard a system prompt in his ears. Ding! Your prestige has officially risen from the ninja school, and your legend will begin to spread in the ninja world today. This time, the selection reward will be doubled. Ding! In the face of the heartfelt cries of the classmates, do you want to become famous or notorious? Please select 1. Ignore the shouts and keep a low profile. Don't fight. Reward, Ninho Rashomon. After doubling the effect, the reward is triple Rashomon. 2. Respond to the shout, fight high profile. Reward, healing. After doubling the effect, the reward is palm cactus. 3. High profile battle. Let the opponent take military food pills to replenish physical strength. Reward, 8-gate Dunjia Array. After doubling the effect, the reward is can open the first 2 doors of the 8 doors of Dunjia without side effects. Episode 22. But seeing a huge wave of shouts, Uchiha Makoto, dressed in a dark blue Uchiha costume and a famous knife of Broken Snow, hanging from his waist, slowly entered the room. Come on. Here it comes. Did you find out? Brother Ching seems to be handsome again? Brother Ching is mighty. Yogetsu frowned and looked at this Uchiha, who was obviously more popular than his brother. It's a pity that he doesn't know. In fact, most of this popularity is negative popularity. Another Uchiha? Just now I hit the next one, feeling SOSO in vain. Oh? The one you beat was the bottom of my Uchiha, and I was really SOSO, second to last in the clan. It's really enough to clean you up, though. I, Makoto Uchiha, never take advantage of people's dangers. You first go to take a military food pill to replenish your physical strength. Lest I say that I am invincible, Uchiha said lightly. Oh? Are you sure? I've won 9 in a row, and I'm a little tired now, and this is your last chance. A 9-game winning streak is strong? I'll pick all of you later, so that you can see what is the strongest and why Konoha is called the first ninja village. Very good. Let me see if your strength is as hard as your mouth. Yu was also not reckless, and decisively went down and knocked a military grain pill. This time, the goal is to overturn the entire Konoha shinobi school and attack the confidence of the future of the wood industry. Listen, Brother Chung is Brother Chung. As always, mighty and domineering. I know, when it comes to Uchiha, who looks at people with their nostrils is the most handsome. It's Makoto Uchiha. Are you boasting about people? Or swearing? Don't turn your head, the opponent is so strong. Don't you know the convergence point? Sorry. Brother Chang's dictionary does not have this word. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 8-door Dunjia array, because the reward is doubled. The first 2 doors can be opened directly without side effects. At this time, after resting for a while to replenish the military food pill, Yu returned to the ring in good spirits. So, the battle for the strongest in ninja school begins. Nomura Sensei skinned. Thunder armor. 8-gate Dunjia array. The first door opens. At the moment of the beginning, both sides were aerated at the same time. 2 powerful forces compete against each other. Then both turned into a stream of light, directly rough, and came to a collision in the field without any fancy rumble. A powerful wave of chi rose from the field and spread in all directions. Shoo! 2 humanoid tyrannosaurs mixed in with the ninja school. An instant caused an exclamation from outside the venue. Both sides did not use dark weapons and ninjutsu again, and they directly fought against each other with the most direct physical skills. In their eyes, they only saw one after another swift after images, and they could not capture the complete figure at all. What a speed! These 2 people, and dozens of trainees, are not their opponents, and they can't touch them. Isn't Uchiha known for his chakra eyes and ninjutsu? What the hell is such a strong physical skill? Rumble. The floor beneath Uchiha's feet cracked like a spider web. Second door, open. Boom. The blue flame rises again. Cool. It's been a long time since I met someone who could clash with me so physically. It's so cool. Makoto Uchiha, I remember you. Don't worry, it's just beginning. Boom. The floor exploded directly, and Makoto Uchiha's voice instantly disappeared in place. In half a year, he opened the second door with his re-strengthened physical fitness, and he was able to catch up with the third door at the beginning of Lee Lock in the original work. Syllable. Shovel the ground with both feet and stop at the edge of the ring. Embarrassed, the first time to use, the speed is too fast, almost can't stop the car. So, riding wheel eyes open. What to hide, enjoy the battle and it's over. And it's not too shocking for the 8-year-old Sharingan to be discovered by the 3rd generation. At most, the attention is increased by another order of magnitude. Turn around again and regain the night moon. This time, Yu's rapid fist slowed down as if slowing down in his eyes. And your own body can catch up with the consciousness to make timely avoidance. So, Uchiha secret technique, Pegasus Meteor Fist. In an instant, countless fist shadows hit Yu, and the name was loud. In fact, it was just an ordinary fist that relied on speed. Syllable, crackle. The 2 immediately exchanged hundreds of blows. A series of crackling sounds make people's scalps tingle. Not only that, but Makoto Uchiha also conducts sound interference. A series of attacks, everyone who watched was dazzled and amazed. Rumble. Night Moon was violently beaten out, plowing a faint mark on the ground. At this time, Yu's eye was swollen, one tooth was knocked out, and the nosebleed flowed wildly. On the other hand, Makoto Uchiha, his body was unscathed, and with the airflow surrounding him, he looked fluttering and majestic. Yuli lay on the ground and looked up at the sky, her eyes tingling. Later. Don't dare to claim to be the first in speed anymore. Let's call it the second speed. Episode 23. The strongest Uchiha. The most handsome Uchiha. Invincible Uchiha. The cadets of the Konoha Ninja School changed their decadence of 9 consecutive defeats by the night moon, and shouted wildly, venting their excitement. Yu looked at the dazzling sunlight in the sky, but for the first time, there were clouds in his psyche. I haven't tasted the failure for a long time. No. Among his peers in Yunin village, he simply did not taste a defeat. Suddenly, a figure only blocked the light in front of Yu's eyes, and a hand stretched out in front of him. Get up, you didn't hurt your feet, what are you loading on the ground? You're just missing a front tooth, a black circle in your eyes, a swollen cheek, ears. Enough. Yu Yuan grabbed the palm handed over and jumped up. Let Uchiha Makoto continue to speak, the other face will also be swollen, shameful. Good. It is worthy of being the strongest trainee in Yunin village, and when he falls, he stands up again, which is like a man. Look at our Konoha, although you have lost 9 consecutive battles, which one is not holding its head high and losing again and again? I believe you also caused a brief defeat just now because of underestimating the enemy, but you know, we in Konoha have a motto, failure is success. Come. Let's fight again, Saima Uchiha shouted with a serious face, casually patting Yogetsuya's shoulder. Meow, it's hard to find an opponent, don't knock out your other front tooth. How can you be worthy of the 9 trainees who were bullied by you? You know, all the students of Konoha Ninja School can only be bullied by me. Everyone in the audience listened to Uchiha's heroic words and looked at each other. Failure is success? When did we in Konoha have this maxim? Maybe there really is, but we are alone. Looking at the 9 people who were defeated by Yu just now, they really held their heads high one by one, although their noses were blue and their faces were swollen, but they were proud and awe-inspiring. It was as if they were the ones who won. How? Feeling, what Brother Chung said makes sense. Also, still fighting? Yu touched her swollen cheeks, and for the first time in her heart, she felt that she was not only physically uncomfortable, but also uncomfortable in her heart. Accept it, it really feels like you can't win. Seeing that the other party has been staring at his other face, this is trying to completely beat me into a pig's head? If you want to refuse, the righteousness you said earlier, the losers hold their heads high. If I refuse, I will not be a man, but a woman. I'll fight you. Young and vigorous, Yu, who couldn't suppress her emotions, almost had a sweet throat, and was so depressed that she spewed out a few liters of red dye. A rap-like word sounded from behind him, and Karabi walked up. Yagaya rode, stupid, chop my yalu, bastard, mean Uchiha, take advantage of the mess. My brother won 9 consecutive victories, and his spirit was tired early. If you are really capable, it is better to beat our 2 brothers alone. Ding. In the face of emotions provoked by the host on and off the field, please choose. 1. Continue to fight against Yu. Reward, healing. 2. Against the 2 brothers of Night Moon and Karabi. Reward, B-level ninjutsu water escape, water formation wall. 3. Stand tall and let more than 30 students from the opposite Yunin school go together. Rewards, B-level ninjutsu fire escape, fire dragon flame bomb, plus healing technique. Looking at the rewards in the system, do you still use selection? Originally, I was going to brush them all over, but now it's just to let them go together, so hurry up and solve it together. Oh? People in the ninja world talk about credit. I, Makoto Uchiha, actually said that if I want to pick all of you, I will definitely pick all of you. Don't come 1 or 2. Let's hurry up and eat later. All of you students can go together. Makoto Uchiha looked at the rising sun in the sky and said with his nostrils towards them, Nah. Nanny, too much deception. Help me up, I can fight again. I've seen the arrogant Uchiha, I've never seen such an arrogant Uchiha. Brothers, he actually looked for abuse, this time, beat is out for me. Immediately, the young and vigorous students of Yunin School did not wait for the permission of the person in charge, and they jumped into the ring with righteous indignation. This. Nomura-sensei glanced at the 3 generations of Hokage with an ugly face, wanting to stop this farce. Let them play. Rest assured, there will be no accidents with us. The 3rd Hokage shook his hand and stopped Nomura, then looked at Makoto Uchiha with interest. Funny little Uchiha. The students of Konoha School looked at each other again. This scene always felt familiar. Wasn't this their previous actions after being provoked? According to the convention, although it feels incredible, why does it feel Brother Makoto can win? This time everyone was on Brother Chang's side, and suddenly found it so cool. This is what Brother Chung once said, stand under the big tree, so that you can enjoy the shade? Do you want to collectively mock the opposite wave? On this day, the students of Konoha learned to think differently for the first time, and the maturity of their minds was lifted again. Episode 24. Then the last 1v30 friendly match, begin. With Nomura-sensei's voice, it fell. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the B-level ninjutsu fire escape, fire dragon flame bomb, plus healing technique. In an instant, a huge amount of knowledge and experience was absorbed by Makoto Uchiha, as if he had practiced countless times, and he mastered the fire dragon flame bullet and the healing technique. Thunder armor. The future AB combination, Yakuzuki and Karabi take the lead and turn into 2 afterimages and rush towards Makoto Uchiha. Fire, the art of burning the undead. Oh no, the art of the fireball. A hot fireball hit the place where they had to pass. Yi Wujian didn't dodge, rushed towards the fireball head-on, and flew up. Righteous Thunder is angry with Thunder Axe. Focusing Lei Du Chakra on his feet, he kicked the fireball from top to bottom. Rumble. The fireball was completely kicked apart, and the fire wave scattered in all directions with brilliant light and shadow effects. Because Yi Yui has just learned the Righteous Thunder and Anger Thunder Axe, plus chakra is not enough, he can only be able to scatter the Hao fireball. It did not reach the power of the hereafter. This is decent. Makoto Uchiha smiled slightly, pulled out the sealing scroll he had just obtained from the family, and instantly threw out the physical shuriken that struck the 2. With Night Moon Spirit blocking the fireball, Karabi, who was 2 steps slower behind him, flashed in front of Night Moon. Karabi Big Windmill. Facing the attacking shuriken, Karabi quickly pulled out the 2 sharp blades behind him, plus the one in his mouth. It spun like a windmill, and all the shuriken swept away. 8-gate Denjia Array, the 2nd gate is open. Makoto Uchiha pulled out his famous knife, Broken Snow, to open the 8 doors to accelerate a flying vertical, and slashed directly towards Karabi. Bell. Karabi used all his strength to stack 2 knives to be able to withstand Makoto Uchiha's slash. A 3-meter mark was plowed into the ground. Karabi 3-blade flow. The knife in his mouth was instantly thrown over, and while Uchiha Makoto was dodging, the blade fell like raindrops. Ding ding. In 3 seconds, the two sides exchanged dozens of blows. Night Moon AI sneaks up from the flank and rushes towards Makoto Uchiha with an iron fist, with the sound of wind and thunder. Karabi took the opportunity to take 2 steps back with a slow sigh and looked. Nima, his 3 love knives with smooth and bright edges, have turned into saws comparable to woodworking, and the blades have been split. Looking at Uchiha Makoto's shiny knife, light as one, he almost blinded Karabi's bull's eye. Is this the Konoha clan? Too arrogant, too enviable. No way. In the future, I will also collect famous knives. It was during Karabi's stunned period. A bloody front tooth fell in front of Karabi with a click. Looking up, his brother Yogetsu was violently kicked and flown away by Makoto Uchiha. Now my brother's 2 front teeth flew and were symmetrical. Strange why I have such thoughts. Your 3-knife flow is indeed good, but it's still just a child's trick. Let you see my 1-knife flow. Makoto Uchiha, who freed his hand, turned the knife and stomped on the ground. Rumble. When the ground was shattered and dusty, people had disappeared in place. Ding ding. Clang. Nanny? You obviously rely on good knives and brute force. Are you really too young? Haven't you heard of a force drop of 10? This time, Karabi only resisted 3 blows, and the blade in his hand was chopped. Then he was kicked and flew out. Ready. Suddenly, a clear girl's voice sounded. Put. It was Asaka Takata, who was the first to play. It turns out that this is the real means of attack. Take advantage of the strongest Night Moon and Karabi to drag Makoto Uchiha. The 28 trainees behind him are ready for all the attack ninjutsu and shuriken that can be used. Lay done, go to the ground. Feng done, big breakthrough. Tuduan, rotten mud. Coupled with the shuriken and kunai in the sky, it swept towards Makoto Uchiha like a tide. After holding out for less than a second, it was torn to shreds. A puff of smoke rises. Cool. Let you be arrogant and be beaten to ashes, right? Several of the 28 Yunin trainees jumped up with joy and high-fived each other to express their excitement. After all, that Uchiha just now was really powerful, and he actually defeated the 2 most powerful people in the school so cleanly. Slow down. Don't get too happy. Don't relax until the last minute. Is the knowledge learned in school returned to the teacher after leaving school? Takata Asaka frowned, reminding his classmates while staring at the chaotic and dusty ring at this time. Nanny? Didn't fight it? Impossible. Even if he used the avatar technique, he was finished with that range just now. The 3rd generation of Hokage knocked on the cigarette bag on the leadership stage, and said with a smile, Yunin village is indeed good, there are many people, and this girl will be a good seedling for battlefield command in the future. Teacher Nomura quickly responded, our school is not bad, and the young man of the Nara family, Nara Shikahisa, is very good. It's this Uchiha kid, it's really surprising. The 3 generations seemed to appreciate it, but in fact, sighed worriedly. The leader saw the battle below clearly, so he was not worried about Makoto Uchiha's safety at all. Because the one just now was indeed Makoto Uchiha's shadow doppelganger. It's really hard that Uchiha has such an excellent child again. 1,000 hands has already wasted a lot of energy, and it took many years to cut the layout to this situation. There are still a few steps left before Senju can truly break away from Konoha's leadership. At the same time, guide the Hyuga clan to drag Uchiha down, and the current situation. Can't wait any longer, the next generation of Hinata definitely can't even drag Uchiha back. It's time to advance the process of weakening Uchiha. Good. So vigilant at a young age. In return, I will show my true skills. The smoke and dust on the field gradually dispersed, and a scattered shuriken on the edge of the ring suddenly changed back to the appearance of Makoto Uchiha. When? This is transfiguration? It's too insidious. It turns out that the transformation technique in the most basic 3-body technique can still be used like this. Learned. I learned that there is a cock, you become a pig, there is only one pig's head decent, but the body is still a human body. Can you turn into a shuriken in its entirety? Terrible, he has already laid out this from the beginning when he threw his shuriken. The trainees inside and outside the field showed shock, the same ninja trainees. Why is the gap so big? Whether it is strength or thinking, the gap is too big. Game over. Makoto Uchiha ignored the noise coming from the surroundings, and his hands turned into an afterimage, quickly sealing. Ninjutsu, the art of the shadow doppelganger. Fire dragon bomb. Feng done, big breakthrough. The body casts fire, and the shadow avatar casts the wind. Combined ninja. The wind fuels the fire is powerful, like a cloud of fire that swept the ring. This. How to block. How to escape. Yunin's trainee's vision was full of desperate fiery red. I can never forget the fiery red color that fills the whole vision, let alone the suffocating despair. I was once convinced that in addition to strength, wisdom is the strongest weapon of a ninja. But in the face of absolute power, what does wisdom have to take to manifest its existence? Is my shinobi wrong? At that moment, the future Yunin commanded Asaka Takata into deep self-doubt. Episode 25. Suddenly, a figure jumped into the room like a ghost. Water escape, water array wall. The huge torrent hood can protect all Yunin trainees. This was Kazuto Matsudaira, the second person in charge of the mission, visiting Konoha. Feeling the rapidly consuming chakra in his body, Matsudaira, and a drop of cold sweat, quietly slipped down. This Konoha imp is so strong, you must know that he is a superior ninja. On behalf of Yunin students, I announce this friendly match, we lost. As agreed, we treat you. All ninja school teachers and students are invited to have dinner at Hayakusenbo, Konoha's largest barbecue street. Just admit defeat, all the trainees go up and can't win the opposite person, it's too humiliating. Yay, thank you Naruto-sama, thank you brother Ching. I also want to thank my opponent and thank Yunin school for their generosity. The Konoha trainees were excited. It's so cool, with great battles to watch and a free barbecue feast. The more such activities in the future, the better. Anyway, we have the invincible Makoto Uchiha on our side. Sure enough, it's cool under the big tree. Looking at the proudly standing figure on the stage, the geniuses of Konoha have mixed feelings. Compared with the excitement of ordinary students enjoying a big meal, they value the gap between strengths. The gap is so big that I used to think that I had learned 1 or 2 ninjutsu and was complacent. As a result, after seeing Makoto Uchiha, he found that the other party's various ninjutsu were even more proficient, even B-level high difficulty ninjutsu. Hinata clenched her fists unwillingly. How could this catch up? Younger brother Hinata took 2 steps forward, and his palm lightly rested on his brother's shoulder. He may be strong, but we are not weak. If you want to be an enemy with him one day, as long as my brother gives an order, my younger brother will definitely not take half a step back. In the psychology of the day difference, the rules, the family is everything. Hayashi turned his head, looked at his brother's eyes and the caged bird that was covered on his forehead, and nodded fiercely. Afterwards, all the teachers and students of Konoha went to Baisian Feng with Yunin. Makoto Uchiha was left alone by the 3 generations of Hokage. Makoto Uchiha, huh? If it is terrifying, he already has such a strong strength at a young age. How? Do you think that the curriculum of the ninja school is too simple, and you want to graduate early and go outside to see the new world? The 3 generations of Hokage asked with a smile, like a kind wolf grandmother. It's not simple, I still have a lot to learn. Every time I took a theory course, how to get this score. The theory is actually very simple, and you can learn it every day. However, Nomura-sensei said that if you do not learn theory well, your thinking is biased, and you will only be a slave to strength. I don't want to be a slave to power. Nomura-sensei, who was standing next to Hokage, had a black brain. Nima, use what I said as an excuse? When did you take my class not sleeping? The exam is not directly called white rolls. I see that you are deliberately handing in white papers. Want to rely on ninja school. About Makoto Uchiha, the 3 generations of Hokage are still very clear. Don't talk to him now. Alright. Don't pull it, you really have the intention to get a good-looking roll score, and no one can stop you. You mess around at school every day, and there are so many small reports about you. I won't pursue these. As long as you graduate early, I can let you join Konoha's special unit, the Dark Department, without exams. You'll be Konoha's youngest member of the Dark Division. Ding. Faced with 3 generations of rhetoric, please choose. 1. Refuse 3 generations. On the pretext that there is no precedent for early graduation from ninja school, he continues to stay at ninja school. Reward, Shuriken throwing mastery. 2. Join the Dark and become the youngest Dark part ever. Reward, Master Shuriken throwing, later Uchiha Itachi level. 3. Promise to graduate early, and in the name of the Konoha garrison, refuse to join the Dark Department of Hokage's direct unit. Reward, Grandmaster level Shuriken throwing, the first Shuriken throwing technique in the ninja world. Makoto Uchiha, who originally wanted to continue to stay in the ninja school to feel comfortable and fish, immediately saw the 3rd reward, and his eyes immediately shone with essence. Alas, the group of small fish and shrimp in the ninja school is really not interesting, and the boy is aiming in all directions. It is time to see the wider world outside. The 3rd generation suddenly became excited when he saw Makoto Uchiha. Touched his beard happily. Sure enough, he was still a child after all, and he was full of interest in what was the most famous name in history. Uchiha Jinyan, don't blame me for kidnapping your young son, it's up to him to decide. Then I will officially issue it to you. Slow. Makoto Uchiha raised his hand and stopped the 3 generations from telling. What does that dark part do? What are the benefits of joining? Makoto Uchiha's eyes were shining and curious like a baby. The dark part is mainly to perform some special tasks that ordinary people cannot do. After joining, the ninja tool can be picked at will, and you can quickly develop into an elite upper ninja. Do you think I look like a person who lacks ninja tools and ninja? Makoto Uchiha scratched his head deliberately. I don't believe you will take out the forbidden art of soil rebirth, flying thunder god, and so on for us. The 3 generations looked at the large number of dark weapons on the field that had not been confiscated so far, and thought of all kinds of ninjutsu at a young age, even the fire dragon flame bullet. A black line suddenly came down on his face, a little embarrassed. I almost forgot that he even knew the 8 doors of the Mat family, and the hateful Uchiha was still making small moves behind his back. When did he actually cooperate with the inconspicuous Mat family? Can't control Uchiha, can't you still be controlled? In the future, the Mat family will not want to rise to the middle ninja. Just give me a good hoeing job in the lower ninja. Besides, the dark part or something, the name alone sounds too dark. It's a far cry from my Uchiha of the Will of Fire. The full name is the Assassination Tactical Special Unit. That's Special Forces. And when did the Will of Fire become a symbol of your home? That's the symbol of Konoha. That's me. The Characteristic Ninja Theory of Konoha's Characteristic Ninja by the Great Ninja Doctor. For the first time, the teachers and students of the ninja school had been living in dire straits. That's not an assassination yet? Gloomy, too gloomy. My father told me that in the face of the enemy, we must defeat him with dignity and convince him. Assassination, sneak attack, these are always the left side of the door. Addicted to these is not able to reach the top. Also, my father told me to go to the Konoha garrison after graduation. Facing the rising sun, spring blossoms. Walking on the street has a lot of feelings. You are entertaining me. The three generations understood, and it seems that this kid has already decided. I'll never see you again. If it weren't for the fear that you Uchiha would find an excuse to make trouble, I really want to beat you up and discipline you. Phew. No, the self-cultivation of politicians. The self-cultivation of politicians. Naruto-sama, I remember. It turns out that the author of the Will of Fire is signed by you. How you completed such a long work. It's amazing. Don't give me skins. It really feels amazing. So why do you get 0 points every time? Me, Makoto Uchiha, jumped and ran outside the school, ready to go to Baisian Fong for a big meal. By the way, the ninja tools on the field will trouble Nomura-sensei. You can clean up and give them to the students as gifts. A word floated from outside the school. Nomura looked at the three generations who still had an angry expression at this time. He shook his head in tears and laughter, and ran to collect the ninja tools all over the ground. Episode 26. Thank you again for the victory Brother Ching brought us. Yes, I used to blame Brother Ching. He bullied us to make everyone grow. You look at Yunin's two big guys, that's the real bullying. Miserable. One was like a pig's head, and he was knocked out of 2 front teeth, and he leaked air when he spoke. A 3-ninja knife was chopped to pieces, kicked off the ring, and has not woken up yet. It is estimated that his heart hurts and he does not want to wake up. One word, poor. Not poor, can he use so many pieces of iron as a knife? Alas, I suggest that he change villages and come to our Konoha. At least Konoha is the richest. Yunin's brother, eat quickly, don't be polite with us, and don't need us to pay. You don't have to pay. Our village has to pay. Yunin's trainees ate this delicious friendship meal of Konoha, extremely uncomfortable. When Uchiha Makoto rushed to Baisian Fang, the students were already eating hotly. Even the twisted Yunin trainee let go of his arms and feasted. After all, they are still children, and there is no feud. At this time, Akimichi Dingza was full of people, and he was eating against Karabi, who woke up and ate a lot. The trainees who saw them fighting hard next to them also joined the battle, one after another, spontaneously engaged in a big stomach king competition. Eat. I'm a professional, Akimichi said with his mouth full of food and patted his swollen stomach. Ninjutsu, multiplication technique. In an instant, the whole person swelled in a circle, flicked his arms, and after 2 moves, he let go of the mountain of food in front of him and ate it. It's just that at this time, chakra, and the food in his stomach are rapidly consumed. My mother, can ninja still be used like this? Does that count as cheating? I took your Konoha's ninjutsu use. The surrounding cadets were in a mess. When he found out that Makoto Uchiha was coming, a large wave of small fans and little fans surrounded him. Brother Ching, I prepared roasted corn for you. Fuck off, what's delicious about grilled corn? Look at me, grilled octopus, fragrant. Disgusting, I have no appetite to look at it softly. Brother Ching, I prepared roast chicken wings for you. Faced with the enthusiasm of his classmates, Makoto Uchiha shook his hand. Don't. I understand your kindness. Guys, don't be polite with me, eat openly, can't finish eating, go around. In addition, treat our rich man, Yunin's friends. Although they came crying, they must leave with a smile when leaving, lest others think that we are not well treated and dare not come next time. Recede. Brother Chung, don't worry. Brother Chung, Makoto Uchiha sent off his classmates and found Makoto Uchiha's location. At this time, Makoto Uchiha, Uzumaki Shina, and others were quietly grilling beef skewers. Watching Makoto Uchiha come over, Makoto brushed the hair in front of her forehead and handed Makoto Uchiha Makoto the roast that was ready, brushed with honey and old godmother. It's still my sister who knows my taste. Makoto Uchiha took the roast meat and ate it in a big gulp. Makoto didn't speak, and with a drop of crystal sweat on her fair and cute nose, and a gentle smile on her face, she quietly watched Uchiha Makoto feast. Humph. And don't say a word of thanks. It was baked by Makoto's sister for a long time. Joshinai next to him said dissatisfiedly, it's your words, I'll be thankful. Makoto, my own family, say anything, even if she wants the moon in the sky, I will go and take it off for her. Uchiha replied to Joshinai, Who is with you is your own family. Makoto's face instantly turned red and she turned around and roasted the corn on the cob. Humph. Joshinai bit the chicken wings fiercely, don't look over, don't want to pay attention to someone. Makoto Uchiha, who had swept away all the baked food, also baked delicious food for Makoto with his own hands. At this time, Joshinai suddenly handed over a bunch of roast chicken wings with seasoning. What for? If you have nothing to offer, you are either a traitor or a thief. You. Not with your general knowledge. I just want to ask Brother Chum to teach me how to practice. Ding. In the face of Vortex Joshinai's request, please select 1. Direct refusal. I am still a child, and I don't do anything to teach people. Reward, sand armor. The armor of sand has strong defense, and it is said that even the skin can be thickened. 2. Promise to teach Joshinai to practice. Reward, medical ninjutsu, palm cactus. Bumps and bumps are inevitable during practice, and what you need is a mobile hospital. 3. Ignore Joshinai, do not refuse, and do not agree. Reward, silent killing. Mist, concealment. Sometimes in the face of things that you don't know how to deal with, you may wish to hide yourself first, calm. Well, the rewards for each option are pretty good, and it feels pretty matched. However, even if the sand armor is over, my face bullets can't penetrate. What sand armor do I need to strengthen? As for the palm cactus, this advanced medical ninjutsu. It's not something that ordinary people can learn. No, many medical ninjas don't. It turned out to be so. Guide your practice? It's not impossible. Makoto Uchiha took the roasted chicken wings. You promised? Joshinai, his face was full of joy. With Makoto Uchiha's guidance, he was one step closer to the goal of the female Hokage. But you're going to eat this whole roast leg of lamb. Makoto Uchiha tore off a whole leg of lamb and handcuffed it on a shelf. Looking at this amount, conservatively estimated, it can top several roasted whole chickens. Huh? Joshinai looked at the huge leg of lamb, and his gaze gradually softened. Sure enough, I knew that there would be many difficulties on the road to Hokage. If I can't even pass this level, then what qualifications do I have to pursue becoming a Hokage? Good. Joshinai nodded firmly. Makoto Uchiha was a little surprised, originally thought that according to her personality, there would be a bargain. Without saying anything, he seriously baked a fragrant leg of lamb and handed it to Joshinai. Joshinai held a huge leg of lamb in both hands, and his small body looked extremely happy. Then took a deep breath, the little head shook, and suddenly buried his head and worked hard. Brother Chung, don't fix Sister Joshinai anymore. Mikoto's white little hand pulled the corner of Makoto Uchiha's clothes and whispered, Anla, I'll make her stop when she can't eat. Joshinai ate his face full of oil, stood up from time to time, and moved to help digestion. The last drops of fragrant sweat dripped down her white and tender cheeks. Sister, let me help you eat together. Makoto Uchiha, unable to stand it, stood up distressedly and went to help. It's okay. If you can't eat, forget it, this time even if you pass the level. Makoto Uchiha was impressed by Joshinai for the first time. This little Nico is good. No, this is my agreement with you, I will definitely be able to eat it. Kushina refused Makoto's help, and her immature face, covered in sweat and oil, was an inhuman strength. But Mikoto also wanted to persuade. Makoto Uchiha raised his hand to stop Makoto. Forget it, let her continue. This is her determination, or rather her ninja. As an agreement, I will carefully guide her in this aspect of practice. Thank you. Joshinai began to bury his head in the hard fight again. Uchiha Makoto looked at this scene seriously. This girl who had experienced the destruction of the country and the destruction of the family was more resolute than many adults. Carefully cherish everything in front of you and not allow anyone to take it lightly. He also retains his innocence and strives to implement his own ninja path. This may be the strength that belongs to this girl alone, and it is also her strength. So, what is my shinobi? And also, can palm cactus treat the problem of overeating? Episode 27. In the end, Joshinai ate for 2 hours with a bulging little belly and wiped out the whole roast lamb shank. Fortunately, this leg of lamb has many bones, and the amount of meat is not as much as expected, and Joshinai has always been a snack with an amazing amount of rice. At noon, everyone ate this big meal. At the same time, the trainees of Yunin also said goodbye to everyone after the meal and returned to Yunin village with the envoy group. The group escorted them all the way to the gate of Konoha. Cheer loudly that they will continue to come next year, and that they can bring less other things, and that they must bring enough silver too. Makoto Uchiha, next time let you see, the upgraded version of my thunder armor, the powerful of Thunder God armor. Goodbye. Bastards of Konoha. The next 4 generations of Reikijai Night Moon Sora Shabibraza. With his mouth open that had lost 2 front teeth, he shouted the words of the dewy wind and shook his hand at Konoha's trainees. He was then followed by Karabi, Asaka Takata, the envoys, and others who were waiting for him. Gradually cross the straight village road and disappear into the vast forest and sea. Afterwards, Makoto Uchiha accompanied Kushina for a slow walk around the village to digest the bulging stomach that had just been puffed up by gluttony. It's just that the words of pedestrians on the road are a little, whose child is this? Have a big belly at such a young age? Maybe it's a dwarf, but it just looks small, maybe older than you. Little point, didn't you see the boy wearing Uchiha's costume? I'll arrest you and put you in confinement. Makoto Uchiha was full of black lines. How did he not know that Konoha's villagers had such a rich imagination before? It seems that it is time to put things in order, and it is imperative to join the Konoha garrison. That Or you go back, I can walk back slowly. Joshinai was so shy that her ears were red. Don't, what if your stomach hurts? I really know how to palm cactus. Release it against your little belly. It is estimated that it will be fine for a while, and you refuse. Sentimental, you're pretentious. How can a girl casually let others touch it? So you kissed me last time? Obviously, you deliberately stood in front of me. Boom, why don't you hide? I'm afraid your stomach hurts when you run. Phew, what? Why did I suddenly cry? No one I was beaten cried. In the evening, Makoto Uchiha personally sent Joshinai, who had returned to normal, home. Brother Chung, I'm home. See you tomorrow. Joshinai, who was carrying the setting sun, shook his hand at Uchiha Makoto, and his long fiery red hair matched the sunset in the sky, which was very good looking. Makoto Uchiha also waved his hand and watched her walk into the house before turning away. It was about to get dark, and most of the pedestrians on the road went back to their homes early to prepare dinner. In this quiet evening, with the scattered houses, the sunset is like a fire. It's a perfect picture. That's not right. Too quiet. Just now, there are always some insects and birds chirping in other places along the way, but there is none here. Oops. Something happened, and Joshinai had this calamity in the original book in my memory, but I don't know the specific time. However, remember when she had an accident, she was not wearing a brace? It should be graduated, and the current Joshinai has not graduated yet. No matter, go back and take a look. The moment his mind turned sharply, Uchiha Makoto hurried to and fro. Return to Juzanai's residence. Shouted loudly, and sure enough, there was no response. Rumble, directly smash open the door. Ah, a scream sounded, and Joshinai walked out of the bathroom with a change of clothes around the bath towel, his face full of panic. Makoto Uchiha. What are you doing, clams? It's embarrassing. Can I say I thought you were in danger and smashed your door, huh? Ha ha ha. Just now, I saw a dark shadow break into your house, afraid that you would be in danger and rush in. By the way, why didn't you agree to shout you just now? That black shadow is yourself, right? I'm just about to take a shower, can this respond? I don't care. You have to pay for this gate, Jyoshina said as she walked towards Makoto Uchiha with a change of clothes. When she approached, a cold light pierced the clothes in her hand, instantly penetrated Makoto Uchiha's body. At the same time, the figure of Joshinai turned into a man with a blue mask on a white background. Mission accomplished. I didn't expect to have a chakra eye at such a young age, and still show off his skills in school, which cheapened us for nothing. After this time, Master Danzo will definitely use me again. Mizuki Lang let out a sneer, originally worried that this little Uchiha who was making a big show in the ninja school had something extraordinary, so he used this opportunity today to set up an ambush. I didn't expect to get it so easily. Sure enough, the little ghost is still a little ghost, no actual combat experience, and it is easy to succeed in a sneak attack. Rest assured, your chakra eye will shine in the hands of those who know how to cherish it more. Laugh at. Mizuki Lang drew the sword that ran through Uchiha Makoto, ready to gouge out his chakra eye. Suddenly, a puff of white smoke rose, and Makoto Uchiha's body suddenly turned into smoke and disappeared. Nanny? Mizuki Lang was taken aback. This turned out to be a doppelganger? The next moment, sweaty hair stood up, and a feeling of death enveloped his whole body. Mizuki Lang didn't hesitate to give in directly to the side, and a sharp sword light pierced in from outside the door. Laugh at. The arm holding the knife was directly penetrated, and blood gushed out. Mizuki Lang took several steps back, escaped from the opponent's attack distance, and quickly suppressed the wound. Full of doubt. How do you see that? The breath. I stayed with her all afternoon, and as soon as you got close, you were exposed. Makoto Uchiha walked into the house, and the famous knife in his right hand was still as bright as snow, not stained with any other color. Makoto Uchiha suddenly raised his left hand slightly, pointed to Mizuki Lang's side, and said lightly, "Sure enough, it's you, Tuanzo. Regiment, Tuanzo-sama?" Mizuki Lang, who stared at Makoto Uchiha, swept his eyes out of the corner of his eye slightly in surprise when he heard this, and the bedroom on the side. Really? Danzo-sama slowly walked out of the bedroom. You disappointed me so much. Not even a single ninja trainee can deal with it. Episode 28. Danzo-sama, I'll be right away. First, the heart hurts. Is this what it feels like to be abandoned by Danzo-sama? No, please give me another chance to solve this imp right away. No, it's not right. Where else was there in his sight? There was only a little imp holding a knife, and the bright knife was passing through his heart. Heart? Illusion? When? A large mouthful of black blood spurted out of Mizuki Lang's mouth. When I enter the door, your eyes are on my broken snow. The intelligence you have collected is not accurate. Will I make a seal with one hand and don't even know? Anyone will be wary at the first glance to stare at the opponent's weapon, not to mention the broken snow, which is known for its gorgeousness and sharpness. Can make the ninja stunned for 1 second. No, 0.5 seconds is enough. Illusion, Narakami no Jutsu. It allows people to see the most fearful things in their hearts. The injury caused Mizuki Lang's state of mind to be confused, and Uchiha Makoto deliberately said Danzo, but also just wanted to make his state of mind more flustered. As a result, by mistake, what he feared the most was Tuanzang. Or what I am afraid of is Tuanzang's disappointment and disapproval of it, and sure enough, after some people in the route are completely brainwashed, Tuanzang is their sky, and every move affects their nerves. It is impossible for someone else to touch the vigilance that they have been trained for. Laugh at. Makoto Uchiha stopped dragging mud and water and quickly pulled out the broken snow. A swift search of the house followed. There is no need for the root people to leave a living mouth for interrogation. It is clear when black blood gushes out of his mouth. The other party had already harbored the heart of mortality and bit the poison pill in his mouth. After walking around the house, I found no trace of Jioshinai. Sure enough, Jioshinai had indeed been taken away. Search for what will appear in the original book, although there will be deviations. But, sure enough, in the last rays of the setting sun, several bright fiery red strands of hair came into Uchiha's eyes. Like the first light of dawn, it is incomparably dazzling. Ding. You have found an important clue to the disappearance of Jioshinai. Please choose. 1. Go back and report that the gentleman does not stand under the dangerous wall, and let the people of Konoha hunt him down. Reward, instantaneous. 2. Immediately catch up and fight the unknown danger alone. Reward, the total amount of chakra increased by 50%. 3. Immediately catch up, and leave a conspicuous kunai next to each hair, so that follow-up support can keep up in time. Compared to reckless men, ninjas need to be brave and resourceful. Rewards, instantaneous plus chakra total increased by 50%. After reading the system information, Makoto Uchiha directly threw out a bitter nail next to his hair. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the transience technique plus chakra for increasing the total amount by 50%. Then Makoto Uchiha's figure instantly disappeared in place. It is impossible to go back, and at this time, maybe Jioshinai will never come back. Although in the original work, Jioshinai was finally saved by Bofeng Shuimen, but now due to the arrival of Makoto Uchiha, the future has already quietly changed through the butterfly effect. And even if there is no system reward, he will not really leave a little hint and go recklessly. Just don't capsize in the gutter in this ninja world where high attacks and low defenses are common. On the other side, the three Yunin, who had held Jioshinai hostage, finally converged with the connector. Originally, there was no connector, but after making a deal with Danzo was responsible for luring away the dark part of the Hokage and guarding Konoha. They just need to take Jioshinai away and take him back to Yunin village. However, before this operation, Matsudaira Kazuto, the second head of the mission, suddenly contacted them and said that he would meet them in the dense forest. Sure enough, through the code, he soon converged with Matsudaira Kazuto. Didn't follow anyone or imp behind? Matsudaira Kazuto asked seemingly casually. No, everything was led away by the people of Tuanzang. Very good, then return to Yunin at full speed. Although this person of Tuanzang is insidious, he will not be a little sloppy in the agreed things. Matsudaira Kazuto glanced at Jioshinai. The long fiery red hair belongs to the characteristics of the Whirlpool family. This is the most perfect container for the pillar power of the tailed orc. Recently, the Yao of Yunin village is about to be replaced. It's just that I didn't expect that this container was so close to that Uchiha demon ghost, and I had to come out to pick it up. I'm not afraid of 10,000, I'm afraid of what if. Uchiha Makoto followed the guidance of the red hair and quickly rushed up, and the hair along the way was nailed to the side. Suddenly, two root members with colored lines of white masks in the dense forest found Makoto Uchiha moving quickly. A little ghost? Up. We have 10 minutes left on our mission, and no one is allowed to pass in front of us within 10 minutes. The two were just about to fly and pounce, when suddenly a ghostly figure blocked in front of the two. Want to sneak up on young Master Ching? Ask me again. In the red eyes of the person who came, the three Goyu slowly rotated like a windmill. Uchiha? Trouble. Solve him in 5 minutes. Ignorant. Three figures collided together in an instant. Episode 29. At this time, it is close to the Konoha border. You little ghost, you actually secretly leave your hair as a mark? It seems that we are too benevolent. A Yunin held in his hand a few strands of hair that Jioshinai had just carefully flicked down. Report to Lord Matsudaira, this little devil has been pretending to be unconscious, secretly leaving road signs along the way, and suggesting that he waste his hands and feet and take it away. These ordinary ninjas had no idea why they wanted to rob such a weak little ghost. Stupid. I think I'll waste your hands and feet first. This child will be captured in the future to become the pillar force of the eight-tailed man, and if the person is wasted, he can be captured and treated well. But hatred is also buried, and when it becomes stronger in the future, I don't know what will happen. However, it is the most important thing to have the safety belt out of Konoha's control now. Then put her in a sack and continue on her way. The border is coming soon. Hey! Jioshinai watched as one of them Yunin held a sack and walked towards her with fierce eyes. Feelings of despair and anger abound. Again, it is true that weakness is the original sin, and you can only let others control your fate. The small fists were clenched, the nails were fiercely digging into the flesh, and drops of bright red blood dripped down the grass, seeping into the leaves, revealing a little desolation. Swish! A kuwu shot out of the dense forest and stuck in front of Jioshinai. Stopped Yun Shinobu's continued approach. Enemy attack. The four Yunin immediately stood on alert. I saw the way, a little ghost's figure, rushing from afar. You guys cross the border with the target speed, I'll solve this little ghost. Matsudaira and people made a decision immediately, and chose to break off. Yes. Although I don't know why Lord Matsudaira is still so vigilant in the face of a little ghost, he chooses to break off alone. But they chose to follow orders. Because Matsudaira-sama is a strong man known as the cunning rabbit of Cloud Ninja. The minds of such big people are not something they can speculate. One of them stepped forward 2 steps and reached out to drag Joshinai. Fine death. A broken drink came from the imp who rushed in. I saw his figure rise high again, leaping in the air, and then waves of shuriken kunai and other dark weapons quickly shot out. Matsudaira and Renren reflexively connected, and the ninja tool was also thrown out of his hand like money. Ding dong. The dark weapons on both sides of the air collided violently, and then fell like raindrops. Matsudaira and Kazuto fell steadily to the ground. Hehe, I'm still too young. Compared to my Matsudaira-sama, the dark weapon is. Poof, poof, poof. There were 3 sounds of objects falling to the ground behind him. What's going on? You guys aren't leaving yet? Matsudaira Kazuto turned sideways, looked behind him out of the corner of his eye, and then shocked on the spot. Nah. Nanny? I saw that the other 3 Yunin's whole body was covered with dark weapons, and they had fallen to the ground and died. After all, how strong can the 3 people who were instantly knocked down by Shaobo Feng Shui gate in the original work? Joshinai, on the other hand, stood intact in place, his eyes excited. The surrounding dark objects surrounded her, and the hollow area in the middle where she stood formed a heart-shaped pattern. You're so nasty, you're too loud. Playing this on the battlefield? Compared to this, the deaths of the other 3 garbage seem mediocre. The point is, when you fight against my dark weapon, you can also kill 3 ninjas and form a heart-shaped pattern around the protector. Is the gap between me and him so big? Is he still a ghost? Matsudaira Kazuto felt a pang of exhaustion. Talented? No, demon. It's so shocking. Burst. A bright blade penetrates Matsudaira and the hearts of people. You also know it's on the battlefield? Still dare to be distracted? Uchiha said lightly. He possesses the first shuriken throwing technique in the ninja world, but when he used it later, he found that even Kuwu could use it like an arm, and it seems that this shuriken throwing technique includes all ninja tools. Boom. Matsudaira Kazuto turned into a cloud of smoke, and a log fell in place. Avatar technique. At the feet where Matsudaira was standing just now, several detonation talismans had already burned to the end. Rumble. The flames and impacts swept through everything around them in an instant. Brother Chung, Joshinai, who was still full of excitement because of Makoto Uchiha's appearance just now, burst into tears. Still too young. It's a pity for your chakra eyes. Jumping down from a nearby tree, Matsudaira Kazuto shook his head and slowly walked towards Joshinai. Obediently leave with me at full speed, or do you want me to put you in a sack? I've lost patience. Matsudaira Kazuto accentuated the words abolition. It's death. I won't go with you either. I want you to pay for Brother Cheng's life. Joshinai, who had red eyes, pulled out a kunai on the ground and scanned the heart-shaped pattern on the ground. Another pain in my heart. With his hand in his hand, he jumped over the heart-shaped pattern and stabbed towards Matsudaira Kazuto, regardless. Die. Die together in this place. Humph. Matsudaira swept away Joshinai with one hand, holding Kuwu's right hand. A little unexpectedly, it didn't sweep away her bitterness. But seeing that she was holding Kuwu's white and tender little hand, it was already red and even began to drip blood. Fight to get injured and don't give up the pain, it's fun. Then a hand stuck to Joshinai's neck. At this moment, in the heart-shaped pattern behind Joshinai, the first Kuwu that flew over from the beginning turned into a cloud of smoke. Little fool. Makoto Uchiha's figure jumped out of it, picked up Joshinai's right hand holding Kuwu, and stabbed forward. Poof. A set of movements as clean and neat, as if it has been prepared for a long time. The 2 white and tender little hands held together once again fiercely plunged into Matsudaira Kazuto's heart. At this time, Matsudaira's raised right hand was able to reach Joshinai's neck. When? The shock on his face instantly froze. Brother Chung? Joshinai, who was originally unlovable, instantly smiled. A faint healing light lit up from the small hands of the 2 folded together. At this time, Matsudaira in front of him suddenly flashed with electric light. Not good. Crackling. The dazzling electric light instantly bloomed. Lay done, lay doppelganger. From the ninja school ring, I noticed your move to transform into a dark weapon. You are still too young, and you exposed your skills early. I'm not an ordinary Sharingan, don't try to play a second role in front of me with the tricks I have used. Matsudaira Kazuto jumped from the tree again. Episode 30. By this time, the sun had completely disappeared from the horizon, and even the last sunset had lost its color. Night began to gradually envelop the earth. After the dazzling thunder light, the 2 people who should have been stunned actually disappeared in place. But seeing Uchiha Makoto and Joshinai quietly showing their figures from about 10 meters away, heck. Is this an instantaneous technique? How can you master so many difficult skills as a little baby? It is impossible for you to cultivate from your mother's womb. It seems that yes, you are an old undead monster in a doll's skin. This appearance is preserved through unknown ninjutsu. The abominable old monster of Uchiha hides his true age everywhere to bully the small. I, Kazuto Matsudaira, messenger of justice. justice for the ninja world today. But seeing Matsudaira Kazuto's whole body holding his head high, majestic, he threw out 2 short blades in his sleeves, and shouted with a righteous face. Gyoshinai, who had just taken advantage of this time to be treated for the injury on his hand, looked at Uchiha Makoto speechlessly, and he had never seen such shameless before. Yeah, a child actually made an excuse. Brother Ching, be careful, this person is tricky, if there is danger, you run quickly, I should not be in danger of my life. Don't worry, this guy is too good at brain supplementation, IP yellow, watch me wake him up. After speaking, Makoto Uchiha made a move that made Gyoshinai's face blush and heartbeat, and actually took out the crotch of his pants, and then held a trace of electric light in his hand. The electric light went from weak to strong, and it actually began to make the sound of birds moaning. After a while, it became loud, like 1,000 birds chirping in unison, and the shining electric light pierced the increasingly dim night, dazzling like a bright light. What kind of ninjutsu is this? This monster can even be such a strong thunderbolt? This ninjutsu is called Chidori, and your little bird the size of a toothpick will never be inspired. Before the words were completely finished, Makoto Uchiha had already pulled Chidori and rushed directly over. What are you kidding? My swelling is the size of an earthworm. None of the women who abandoned me saw the goods. Matsudaira and Rin shouted urgently, seemingly trying to fight hard, but his body bowed and retreated backwards, but found that they couldn't beat each other. Hurry up and seal your hands. Water escape, water array wall. The 1,000 birds that came by constantly accelerating plunged into the wall of water. Nourishment. Large swathes of water vapor rise. Want to spell the amount of chakra? Then use the one that is compatible. Fire, fire dragon bomb. After jumping back a few steps, the flames that erupted from Makoto Uchiha's mouth were left center right. The 3 directions danced like a dragon and slammed into the huge wall of water. Rumble. The powerful force completely broke through the water formation wall after a stalemate. Huge water vapor swept in all directions. This is the time. A figure fell instantly, and a knife handle struck, stunning Gyoshinai. Short blade for both hands. Thunder, lightning strikes a tornado. Swish. A bolt of lightning carried a hurricane and was triggered from the short blade of the exchange. Where the lightning tornado formed by the hurricane passed, the turf was blown away, and the earth was reduced to scorched earth. Makoto Uchiha, who had no time to dodge because of the release of the fire, was directly torn to pieces. Phew, difficult guy. It's always damn this time. To kill you, chakra is exhausted, you have to be proud. The visitor was still Matsudaira Kazuto. This cunning guy just appeared in the doppelganger, all doppelganger. The first to be eliminated is the thunder doppelganger, which consumes a huge amount. After that, it was the water body that was only 10% of the strength that was destroyed by the fire dragon flame bomb. Otherwise the school could block Makoto Uchiha's fire dragon flame bomb, but why couldn't it be blocked here? Chakra is not enough. This continuous ninjutsu has already consumed his chakra. Hurry up and run away with this human pillar power container. Then the individual can't stand it. Matsudaira Kazuto, who wanted to take Kyushinai, just turned around. Burst. Once again, the body was pierced. Matsudaira Kazuto looked at Gyoshinai, who should obviously be knocked unconscious. Or is it too young to prevent the transformation technique from changing its appearance? Gyoshinai shook his head and said in Matsudaira Kazuto's tone. After a puff of smoke, it turned into Makoto Uchiha. Poof. Matsudaira was so angry that blood welled up in his mouth. This time, the cunning heart was completely cold in front of the more cunning people. Matsudaira Kazuto, who was known as the foxy rabbit of Unin. Soldier.